What's going on, y'all? Psych Perspectives, giofvcks here, and today, you knew sooner or later I was probably going to address it. We're going to be talking about your boy, Poppi, Hassan Campbell. Now, you know, every year, at least 2 to 3 times a year, you can guarantee Hassan Campbell to have some type of blowout. And most of these blowouts occur when he's drunk, when he's under the influences of alcohol and liquor. And for some reason, each blowout that he's drunk and belligerent, it always is captured on video because he literally films the most intimate, private times and posts it on his live stream on YouTube, on one of his various YouTube channels, because he is indeed a big YouTuber. Big YouTuber. He is a big YouTuber. And he has to let us know every waking moment of his life, you know. And then, of course, it's sad because you can, this is just me judging from the outside in, and also being in therapy and counseling and my own personal experiences. You can look at Hassan and tell, like, bruh, you are struggling with a lot. And I feel like a lot of his struggles comes from the child molestation, the sexual relationships that he had, whether it was forced upon him and he was abused and assaulted and taken advantage of, or it was a willingly participant situation. I feel like Hassan also may struggle with his own sexuality, the trauma and abuse that he grew up with as a child in his adolescence and youth, being a teenager. I feel like he struggles with a lot of mental health issues and trauma. And I feel like that's one of the many reasons why he drinks. And then when he drinks, it's not drinking. You know how some people can have 1 or 2 drinks, maybe even 3 drinks, and then they sit down. They chilling. They drinking to get a buzz. They're still coherent. They're still aware, and they're chilling. Where with Hassan, it's like he drinks and 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 he drinks. It's past just having a buzz, or I had a long day at work and it's the evening and I'm just trying to wind down with a drink or two. No, he drinking hard liquor and beer, and he the type that is drinking a case of beer. He the type that's drinking a fifth of Henny. You feel me? Like he goes in. You feel me? He goes to the extreme. And once he gets there, that camera gets pulled out and it's time to go live. And it's just like, Hassan, this is just being real. You don't need to film everything, bro. We don't need to know everything that's going on in your life. We don't need to see your children. We don't need to see your spouse. We don't need to see your house. We don't need to see you hanging out with whoever you hanging out with. Because let's be real. And this isn't just me, you know, talking shit. We gotta be real. We gotta be real. And what I mean by this is, it's dangerous. Every time you turn around, you got an issue where somebody pulling up on you, they sending food and pizza boxes to your house and all this other shit. And it's like, bruh, nobody would know any of these things about you unless you're going around filming it and telling everybody where you live in the first place. Okay? And then you also end up making yourself look crazy because you're constantly in a situation where you'll have a video, like in this situation where he going off on iGod. You literally had a video the other week where iGod and another individual that you grew up with, your partners, presented you with a plaque. And y'all was sitting on the stoops, and you clearly was happy. You know, you could look at his, you know, his facial expressions in the video and his body language. You was happy and ecstatic and proud, and they was, you know, presenting him with a plaque, and then they sat on the stoop and was talking about, you know, what they talk about. And then a week later, or in this case, not even a full week later, because this was on the 4th of July, you know, if you want to call it that, a week later or a few days later, now you fuck iGod. iGod ain't shit. iGod ain't real. He's a molester. He's an abuser. He cheating on his wife. He got her down in Atlanta. And it's just like, no, wait a minute. Wasn't this just your homie? Wasn't y'all just on the stoop? Didn't they just present you with a plaque? Like, that's what I mean by, and that's the same situation that happened with Derek Williams. That's the same situation. Like, he's done this before with other people. Like, one minute he's sitting up praising these folks, and those are his big partners. They got busy in the streets. You know, it's all these different things. And then a few days, a few weeks, a few months later, all of a sudden, the people that used to be your partners are now your sworn enemies. And again, none of us would know these things unless you post these videos, you know. And it's like, I also don't get why people in Hassan Campbell's camp, his circle, people that care about him, why are y'all allowing him to get on YouTube and embarrass himself like this over and over again? Like, take the camera away. You feel me? Like, bro, you might need to deactivate your account for a few days or take a few weeks to a few months break. You don't have to post every day, every week. And I get it. You know, this is one of your streams of revenue, one of your streams of income. I get it. But you got to stop, bro. Because it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's ridiculous. And honestly, for me, it's like obviously a cry for help. Like I said, I feel like he struggles with a lot of trauma and abuse. I feel like he may even struggle with his sexuality. I mean, a lot of people in our community do, thanks to the homophobia and the transphobia and everything else. A lot of people don't want to live their truths and be who they are out of fear of the hate and bigotry that's in our community. And I understand. I get it. But it's like, bruh, these videos. And then, you know, you always having beef with people that don't even know that you exist. Like, or people who don't even care about you. Like, you sitting up here beefing with Tamika Mallory and Masan, and you mad at them for Black Lives Matter movement and all this other shit. And you always critiquing how other people need to go about getting liberation and justice and fighting against oppression. But yet, what are you doing? I mean, you always coming in on everybody else, but yet, when we look at your videos, it's you know, doing fist and shit, or got a sword, you know, or you drunk as hell crying, or cussing somebody out, berating them like the lady at Burger King last year, you know, or you pushing, you know, like I said, one minute they're your big partners, they're your friends, they're supporters, and then the next minute you pushing on them and trying to beat them up. Derek Williams last year in September. Like, I'm just being real, you know, and it's ridiculous. You feel me? And then, like somebody said, and I'm not, when I addressed it, I am not trying to be disrespectful, rude, condescending, because I don't wish bad on nobody, you feel me? But like somebody said, you have disrespected your mom like so many times. And don't get me wrong, a lot of us have very toxic mothers, grandmothers, women in our lives. A lot of us have toxic men, fathers, grandfathers in our lives as well. But it's like, one minute you blaming her for everything, and then next minute you crying and talking about how she's on her deathbed. And like somebody said, she's been on her deathbed, according to you, for over a year. And after a while, it sounds like you selling wolf tickets. It's almost like, bro, you the boy who cried wolf. Because honestly, you and Umar Johnson, y'all about tit for tat. Like, how can we trust and believe anything y'all say, bruh? Because your mom has supposedly been on her deathbed for over a year. Okay? And you know, one minute it's I love, yes, my mom's dead, y'all are dead, I just want to be with my mom. And the next minute, fuck her, she's the reason why. It's like, bruh. And don't get me wrong, I get the anger and the frustration. I too was molested, bruh, in 3rd grade at 8 years old for an entire year. I get the anger and frustration. I get the trauma. I get it. But at the same time, what are you doing? Like, it just sounds, and then like I said, you want to pocket watch everybody else, right? You so concerned about everybody else's finances and where the money going, and are you here to help the youth? But how is you cussing and berating and being drunk on YouTube Live helping the youth? How is this a positive image for the youth? I don't think youth need to see you doing what you're doing. And then your whole thing is you ain't got your father. A lot of us didn't have fathers, and we still didn't turn out like you. Okay? All right? I'm just being real. All right? So I don't really get that either. You know, you always on this, you ain't got your father. And you can look at them and tell they ain't got their father. And it's just like, you didn't have your father either. So what is you talking about? And then just because you don't have a father doesn't mean that a person is going to be a low life and not be successful. There's people, and then on top of that, there's people who had their fathers and mothers, and they still ain't amount to shit. So, you know, it's just, again, I don't really think you be knowing what you're talking about, and you just be getting on here spewing ignorance. And then you always spewing conspiracy theories and shit. And then it's like, where's your fact checks? Where's your sources? Where's your references? Like, you just get on here spewing bullshit. You know, and craziness. Now, are there times where Hassan says something and you be like, damn, you know, that makes a lot of sense? That is very telling and relevant. Yes, there are moments where he talks about some good points, he brings up good points, and he do address topics that need to be addressed. But then in the same minute, he'll be talking about how we got to do this for the youth, and then he'll be talking about how he a killer and he gets busy in the streets. And like I said in this previous live, he basically sitting up talking about how he about to kill somebody. And that's another thing, similar to Umar Johnson. Y'all always threatening people's lives on YouTube and thinking it's a joke. Sooner or later, you're going to be charged with a serious offense, bruh. And then sooner or later, you're going to be threatening the wrong people. And the wrong people are going to get really right with your ass, if you know what I mean. Okay? That's why I'm like, a lot of y'all, you know, y'all need to stop. That's unnecessary. It really is. It's unnecessary to be acting like this. It's just, and then like I said, Hassan is in his 40s, acting like he a damn 15-year-old who didn't get his way and his parents took away his Fortnite. Because that's really what it is. Like, you a grown-ass man, and every time you turn around, you're on YouTube Live having a complete meltdown. You know, and at this point, it's like, do you really have any friends? Because I said, all of your friends, 1 minute, you putting them on a pedestal, you praising them. Next minute, fuck them. You know, they liars, they not true to the game, you trying to kill them, you putting, you know, bounties on niggas' heads. It don't be making any sense. You feel me? That's my whole point. I don't think you have friends. And also, similar to Umar Johnson, this is why I always talk about narcissism. Hassan Campbell and Umar Johnson their behavior is very narcissistic. And I'm going to do a video talking about how narcissists, they have black and white thinking, right? 1 minute they're putting you on this pedestal and they love you and they're love bombing you and you can't do anything wrong. And the next minute you ain't shit, you a bitch, you a liar, I hate you, the devalue stage. Now they hate you. There is no gray area with them. Everything's black and white, and they don't regulate their emotions correctly, because you gotta think about it. How is it a few days ago you was getting a plaque from iGod and sitting on the stoop having a conversation with iGod and another individual, and then a few days later to a week later, it's fuck iGod, I hate iGod, I'm gonna kill iGod. So that's what I mean by you don't regulate your emotions, and then it doesn't help that you are an alcoholic. You know, let's just be real. It doesn't help that you're using alcohol and liquor as a coping mechanism when you already are unstable. I'm just calling it for what the hell it is. Anyways, and of course, you know, he had those videos removed, and of course, nothing you put on the internet ever truly is erased. people can always pull it up later. And as we can see, people have been able to pull up the video, you know, and there's multiple copies of the video. Just like when he thought he had deleted the Burger King meltdown, and he thought he had deleted the other video where he was crying. Like, there's so many other, like I said, at least 2 to 3 times a year, you can expect to see Hassan Campbell have a meltdown and go on and stream it and go on live stream. You know, he's the perpetual victim. Like I said, narcissistic as hell. The perpetual victim. It's always somebody else's fault. You know, he's always got beef with everybody. You know, Jay Prince. You know, all these rap artists, you know, these other activists. I mean, there's always some shit, and you just sit back and you just be like, what is really going on here? You know, what is really going on here? And then, what was it, earlier this year, there was the allegations that he had raped someone, you know, or sexually assaulted and abused and took advantage of someone. You know, there's always something going on. And it's just like, what's next? What's next, you know? And I watched other people's videos as well, you know, when they talk about Hassan. And then I watched Hassan's videos, and I'm just like, again, what is the point? Why do you do this? Like, why do you feel that it's necessary to act and behave like this? Y'all doing too much. Anyways, let me know what y'all think in the comment box below. Make sure y'all stay hydrated out here, because it's hot. You know, I'm in Michigan, and it's been in the 90s, damn near 100 degrees for like 2 weeks. And don't get me wrong, I love hot, warm, sunny weather, because also in Michigan it can be 30 below zero for months in the winter. So I'm loving it. But I'm just saying, y'all, make sure y'all have your water. Get your 64 ounces of fluid ounces of water, a gallon of water in a day, 8 glasses of water, you feel me, 4 bottles of water, you know, because if you get a regular sized bottle of water, it's about 16 ounces. So you need 4 bottles or 8 glasses of water, right? So make sure y'all get that in. Make sure y'all got your mask on, 6 feet apart, social distance, wash your hands, disinfect. I'm out.